Hello and welcome back to Anxious to Anabolic. My name is Mike, and today I'm going to be going over some progress that we've been making, as well as some things that we can improve on, some things I've noticed that I've been doing wrong, and exactly what I'm going to be doing to fix those things. So let's start with some good news. So I'm already seeing some great improvements as far as physique goes in areas that I already knew were going to improve based on my previous experience. Last time I started working out, the first things to grow were my pecs and my shoulders. I'm already seeing some meat getting added on there, which is fantastic. I love not being able to see my ribs through the center of my chest anymore. I'm also seeing some fantastic results so far with my triceps. They're still small, but I've got a nice little horseshoe starting to grow, which is very, very encouraging for me. And my tiny little biceps here are a lot less tiny than they used to be. Also, I can actually feel my lats starting to come in, and I've got a really good mind-muscle connection with them for the first time basically ever. When I was first getting into weightlifting and things of that nature, my lats were the things I had the hardest time activating. So it's actually really nice finding exercises where I can feel them being activated, and I actually get a nice amount of soreness after each workout now. In addition to the physique improvements, my lifts are starting to improve as well. Not as quickly as I would have liked, but they are improving nonetheless. When I first started working out, my bicep curl with a flat barbell was roughly 40 pounds for 10 reps. At this point, I can actually get 10 reps with 50 pounds, which is awesome. I'm excited to try 60 pounds here in a couple of weeks and see how that goes. For my bench press, you guys can see in the very first video I ever did with my brother filming with me, my bench press was about 85 pounds and I was barely able to crank out 10 reps on the first set. At this point, I can easily rep out 10 reps with 95 pounds. In my mind, that means I've gained 10 pounds on my bench press. I have no idea what my max is. I really don't care. It's more about what I'm repping with at this point. Eventually, we'll get into maxes and all that good stuff, but right now, not so important. As far as my squats go, they were basically non-existent when I started this channel. At this point, I'm repping about 95 pounds. 7 to 10 reps is pretty typical as far as my squats go. You can see in my last video of week 6 where I tried adding a little bit too much weight and almost didn't make it out of squat number 4 on set number 3. If you guys want to have a good laugh, go ahead and take a look towards the end of that video. You'll see the look of horror and panic on my face as I almost didn't make it back up out of that squat. Now, are these numbers good numbers? Are they strong numbers? No, they're not strong numbers necessarily. But am I happy about the progress that I'm making? Absolutely, I am freaking psyched. And not to mention, this time around, I'm focusing on things that I've neglected before. Leg day, for instance, was something that I never, ever did except maybe once a month back when I was first getting into shape and lifting weights. With all that being said, I'm extremely excited about the progress I'm making, regardless of how small it might seem to other people. And that leads me into the next part of this video. Now we're gonna go over some things that I can improve on, some things I've noticed that I've been doing incorrectly, some parts of my training that are just straight up lacking. There's no way around it. There are things that I should have been doing this whole time that I haven't been doing, whether that be because of my anxiety or some other internal force. So I alluded to this just a little bit earlier in this video and in some of my previous videos. The first issue that I have is that I neglected leg day for pretty much my entire life. And now it's coming back to bite me in the butt. Like I said a minute ago, I should be squatting at least 135 pounds per reps. I'm barely putting up 95 pounds right now. I'm also at a point where my legs get way sorer than any other part of my body. Part of that is, yes, because your legs have the largest muscles in your entire body, so the lactic acid buildup is a lot stronger, but that doesn't mean that it should be at the point that it is right now, where I'm barely able to crank out 6 working sets in a workout, and I feel absolutely destroyed afterward. And that's about what I'm doing. 6 sets out of 12. 12 working sets is my goal. 12 working sets per week per muscle group. That's about what you need to see some good muscle growth, at least according to the research I've done and channels that I've watched like AthleanX, Shredded Sports Science, other channels of that nature. And I'm only getting 6 sets in on leg day, which to me is a huge problem. In addition to that, I've also noticed that leg day takes way more out of me than any other muscle group. I'm at the point where even after only 6 sets, the next day I wake up actually feeling sick. And I feel that way for a good 24 to 48 hours before I finally feel back to normal. It's just exhausting for my body. So what's the solution to this issue? As far as the feeling sick part, I've actually changed up my routine each week. Instead of having leg day at the beginning, which I was originally doing because I knew that I would neglect leg day if I didn't get into the habit, so I figured start with the worst. Instead of doing that, from now on what I'm doing is putting it at the end of each week so that I can have 1 to 2 rest days before my next workout day. I want to take a little bit longer rest after leg day because it does take so much out of me. Now, what am I going to do about not getting enough sets in? There are 2 possible solutions to this. The first option is simply doing everything that I can on leg day, getting as many sets in as I can, but listening to my body and stopping once I've hit my limit. And theoretically, my body will eventually acclimate to where I can do more sets each time and get a more complete workout in the weeks to come. Alternatively, the second solution could be adding in a second leg day each week. If I'm only getting 6 sets in on one day, maybe in between my other workouts, add a 4th day in instead of just doing 3 days a week at the gym. And in between chest and back day, maybe add in 1 extra leg day where I get in the other 6 sets. Or for example, if I manage to get in 8 sets one day, then I'll do 4 sets on the spare day that we're creating. So there's the first issue, and I will be implementing some sort of solution to get that under control so that I can start seeing the gains that I feel I am meant to see. So on to the next thing that I am seeing as an issue. My cardio is absolutely atrocious, far worse than I thought it was going to be. I'm at a point where I'm running maybe a mile in 11 and a half minutes on a good day. By the end of it, my heart, my chest is in absolute agony. I'm having a very difficult time catching my breath. All of these things are perfectly normal, but when you have a mental disorder that tells you you're dying every time your heart starts to race, it tends to be kind of an issue. And that's what we're gonna overcome. So there are 2 things happening here. 1, I've noticed that my cardio is not as good as I thought it was. And 2, I am not jogging on all of the days that I'm supposed to be jogging. I originally intended to jog 3 days out of the week. Right now, I'm lucky if I've been getting 1 in. What would be the reason that I've been neglecting my light cardio days when I know that they're so good for me? 2 reasons. One of them is a scheduling issue. One of them is an internal mental issue that I just alluded to. As far as the scheduling goes, I've got a full-time job. I've got a wife at home. I have a lot of different projects that I'm working on all at the same time. I just don't have enough time in the week to go to the gym 3 days a week, 4 days a week, and also get cardio in and also take care of all of my home and work obligations. So that's issue number 1. Issue number 2 is the internal mental dialogue that I've got going on saying that if my heart is racing, if my throat feels like it's closing, if I'm having trouble breathing, which is perfectly normal during a run, that somehow means that I'm dying. I've already been cleared by many cardiologists, doctors, everyone that you could possibly think of has given me a clean bill of health. So I know for a fact that it's all in my head and that I just simply need to push through these things. So with these issues, am I going to just give up and neglect cardio forever? Absolutely not. That is the worst possible thing that somebody in my position could do. What I need to do is meet this thing head on with a plan so that I can overcome this issue and it'll be one more thing that's just water under the bridge. So what's my solution for this? 1, I'll just simply stop and take a slight walking break if I get too overwhelmed during my runs, cool off for a second, and then get right back to it. It's okay to stop and walk a little bit as long as I'm getting my full cardio session in. I think I'll be very happy with that. And instead of committing to 3 days a week, I do absolutely believe that 2 days a week is doable. And not only will I commit to the 2 days a week, if I have extra time at the end of each of my weightlifting sessions, I'm gonna do what's called extra credit. And I'm gonna go ahead and get on the treadmill and I'll get a little bit of extra credit in so that I can feel good about myself and good about my conditioning work. So there's the second issue, right along with what I believe is a very simple and effective solution. And that leaves me with one last thing to tackle. I am not seeing as many gains as I thought I would when I initially started this journey. By this time, a little over 6 weeks in, I was expecting to have gained at least 5 pounds of decently healthy weight. Mostly muscle, maybe a little bit of love handle action, but I was expecting to gain a lot more weight than I have. I started at 134 pounds 6 weeks ago. I am at a whopping 134.5 today. Has my physique improved? Absolutely. Am I seeing muscle gain? Yes. Am I getting stronger? Yes. Is my muscle starting to cover up my skinny frame a little bit? Absolutely. Am I seeing all the gains that I could if I was utilizing a better plan and made a few adjustments? Not at all, not even close. This is specifically because of the anxiety and the panic disorder. Truth be told, I have not been working out at the intensity that I should be. I've been taking longer rest periods than I should be. I've been not working out to failure as I should be. And this was sort of by design, to be completely honest with you. To be completely candid, I've been working out far longer than I've been filming. At the beginning of January this year, I started getting back into the gym, and I worked out off and on as I could, overcoming my mental illness and getting used to being in the gym again. That was the first month or two. Eventually, I became consistent at getting into the gym and eating properly and all of that wonderful stuff, and I began going to the gym 3 to 4 days a week. Since that time, I have been stuck in a phase where I have been taking, instead of 45 seconds to 1 minute for rest periods in between sets, I've been taking 2 to 3 to 4, sometimes 5 minutes in between sets, just to help calm my anxiety, let my heart rate lower so that I don't freak out and leave the gym altogether. That's issue number one. Issue number two, this is about as simple as it gets. I am just not eating enough. I'm getting plenty of protein, I'm getting plenty of carbs, and I'm eating plenty of leafy greens and taking multivitamins. The nutrition is on point for the most part. Obviously on the weekends I might have some crappy food that I shouldn't be eating. But even though my diet is good and healthy for the most part, that does not mean that I'm getting enough calories to see the muscle gain that I want to see. So what's the solution to this? The first solution with the intensity portion is that I'm actually happy to announce that I'm at a point now where I feel very comfortable committing to being able to bring my rest periods down to 45 seconds to 60 seconds max. I actually did it for the first time today. I was very proud of myself. It's a new milestone for me ever since being diagnosed with the mental disorders. Now, I will say I had a genuine panic attack in the middle of my workout, but I managed to go take a breather in the locker room. Took about 4 minutes, that's all it took. Let my heart rate come back down to normal, got some sips of water, got back out there, and I crushed the remaining sets. So that's fix number one. My intensity is back up to where it should be so that I can actually tear my muscles up the way I need to be tearing them up so that they can rebuild bigger and better than ever. The second solution, as far as the caloric intake goes, is actually very simple. I have not been eating breakfast. My stomach just traditionally has not done well with breakfast, so I've been skipping it and just eating a very large lunch and a very large dinner. Unfortunately, I'm a very skinny guy. My genetics, my dad, his dad's dad, every single person in my family on down has always been very scrawny and had a very difficult time gaining muscle. Because of that, even though I'm eating a lot of calories, about 2,100 calories a day is what I would estimate I've been eating, that's just simply not enough. So the solution is going to be adding breakfast back into my days. I've been skipping breakfast. No longer will I skip breakfast. I'm going to keep my lunch and dinner meals the exact same size. But on top of that, I'm going to add breakfast back in. Even if it's just something light, it's going to add in those calories. The goal is going to be to get at least 300 calories in at breakfast, and the rest of the day should work itself out without me having to calorie count. So in total, it's going to be 2,400 to 2,500 calories a day that I'll be intaking. I'll be increasing the intensity of my sets. I'll be decreasing the time between my sets, and I believe this is going to help me see much better gains much quicker from here to the end of this first 90-day period. That's issue number 3, or item number 3, that I think I can improve on during this journey, along with a couple of things that I think will actually fix that issue so that we can move on and grow from here. Now it's time for something fun. I've actually been saving this for a couple of weeks. Just a few weeks ago, 4 weeks into the workout program, my cousin mentioned to me, man, have you taken any measurements for the before? That way you can take measurements after and see what it's gonna look like. And no, I hadn't. So 4 weeks in, better late than never, I went ahead and did some measurements on my biceps, my waist, and my chest. which have already improved significantly over the last couple of months. But now we'll have a sort of baseline so that everybody can see how much I've truly improved physique-wise at the end of this initial 12-month cycle that I'm filming. All right. Alrighty, we're gonna do some before measurements here, just on biceps, and I don't know if we should do other measurements or anything.
Yeah, we can. Why not?
I don't know what other measurements to do, like chest, I guess, but we'll figure it out. So, do this one right here, and this is about 1 month into the video series, about 2 months into working out. I wish I would have thought to do this ahead of time because they were even smaller then.
Right at 12-inch biceps.
Perfect. So just under 12-inch biceps right now. I'm sure it was probably more like 11 2 months ago when I started, but perfectly fine. And should we do, what other measurements?
Take your shirt off. Let's do the waist. Right under 32, 31 and 3/4.
All right.
And then mid-waist, or your belly button, right above the belly button, gonna be 29. Chest is gonna be 30, a little over 33, 33 and 1/4.
That's going to be it for this video, guys. I truly believe over the remainder of this first year that anybody watching this journey is going to see significant improvements in not only my physique, but also my strength. And keep in mind that my number one goal with this channel is to show anybody else out there that might have anxiety disorder or panic disorder or any other sort of mental illness that is keeping them out of the gym and keeping them from getting in shape, that it is absolutely possible to overcome your mental illness and get into the best shape of your life. It may not be super easy. As I have experienced, it is not going to be super easy, but with the right approach, I 100% truly believe in my heart of hearts that anybody out there can make it happen regardless of the roadblocks. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to post the next video showing you guys updates and workouts and exactly what's going on in my life. And maybe I'll start posting a little bit about the nutrition side of it too. Let me know in the comments below if you think that that would be interesting. And stay posted because I've got a lot of really fun and exciting things happening, including the creation of a logo for the channel. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of the night. Now get out there and make those gains.